We're gonna go.
Okay. Don't have too much fun. I think the best way is going to be maybe to have how do they have a specific way that so they don't fit, not damage.
I see someone just commented, is that Matt Heimbach? The answer is yes, that is Matt Heimbach.
Hi everyone in internet land.
Are we streaming live?
I'm streaming live. One person just commented, what's with the guns?
They are for my personal protection and for protection of our outfit.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
A lot of people talk about how National Socialists historically have not been fond of the Second Amendment. Is that a misinterpretation?
Really, it's the exact opposite. When the Third Reich came about, they actually started to ease up on laws. And so, again, another lie that's been told.
Democrats are not the real Nazis. That's a fact.
Democrats are not the real Nazis, says Matt Heimbach.
They're not though. Like, I mean, and that's one of the big problems, right? Where people need to understand that, like, the National Socialists understood that Germans being able to have weapons for self-protection, for hunting and things like that, that was an important right. So the idea that gun grabbing is an NS idea is laughable, because if you have a people state, you know, why would you not trust your own people with arms?
Weimar Republic before, 1933, that's when all that gun control stuff kind of went on, with the German people. I mean, we're still able to have some, but there's definitely restrictions.
Was shield or flag?
Flag, I guess.
Well, probably be able to play females. We need 2 women on the banner.
Can I ask you about these flags?
Would you like to be
All right.
Yes, sir. You look very aesthetic right now. This is peak optics. That's nice. Yeah. Yes. Harry, get a picture.
All right. Take a picture of that. Do it again.
You have questions about the flag, ask the man in the white shirt.
With the beard?
He'll explain everything to you.
Okay.
She's got the banner, and then she's got the other side. Who's she? The one with the glasses with the speakers.
Deborah?
Yeah, Deborah. She's got the other side of the banner.
How did we had it in the vehicle? Maybe it doesn't usually do it.
Axe, you want a shield or a flag?
Ah! Flag or shield? Yes.
Oh,
Shield, please.
Laura,
So glad.
would you take a flag, please?
I guess. Thanks God. So if I'm true, then I can't wear a jacket. Are you taking over? Okay.
All right, so someone asked, are they still standing in the parking lot, referring to the live stream that I did earlier. So to be clear, in the time between the first and the second live stream, they've obviously driven here to the state capitol. So they kind of assembled over a little bit of time at a different location, and that was a Kohl's a few miles away, and now they've gathered in front of the state capitol. So on the way in, there were several police kind of guiding everybody around. They kind of have this specific spot for their cars and everything like that, basically to prevent their cars from being attacked by counter demonstrators or anything like that. I think that we've gone in a direction that we wouldn't see the counter demonstrators on the way in. I'm not exactly sure to what extent they're out here. Basically nothing was what I saw, and I'm guessing there's not much to see at this point. As you can see, they're kind of getting their sound systems and flags and everything like that ready.
When the man in front of you is shot, the man behind him will pick up the rifle and continue to fight. Soviets. For the motherland.
Very expensive the FMs are.
Really?
Sir. I bought it for like $100.
At the banner. You go in, the 2 shield bearers goes in before the banner. Right. And if anything does happen, you can take,
Thanks for asking.
Can I get your name?
Sure.
Matt, can you spell your last name?
Hotel, Echo, India, Mary, Bravo, Alpha, Charlie, Hotel.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. No problem. I mean,
Harry Hughes. H-U-G-H-E-S.
I have you stand on this side of the banner. Okay. And like I told him,
Thanks.
when you go up here to the bottleneck, you two will go in first. Do each other. And then wait for the ball. So that's where everything is. Okay. You know, where they're gonna have to check 1 or 2 outside. So you two will be the ones going ahead of the banner.
I just saw her out.
Yeah, I kind of was gonna put on some blush at the same time.
Yeah, you know me. Your shield's upside down there, you know.
usually you have me help you with that, honey. Nice. They might have to write that shit down. Right.
This fellow was handed to you.
I know, I tried to
Because I have an agenda of communist Marxist ideology, and you know, it's pretty much the anniversary of the takeover in Russia of the Tsar, where the Bolsheviks took it over violently, and that's how they do things. Violently.
she's doing banner, I believe.
Okay. You want to come up here so we go to the banner?
Sure. I guess. No, you're gonna put
But I'll stand with you, yeah.
Well, the guys who went off to check out Antifa from the AN, where did they go?
They're not back yet.
No.
How many more?
And you'll stand right over here.
They should probably hurry. Thank you very much.
Does anybody have a number on them?
Oh boy, maybe. The one in the mask. Maybe.
See?
I'll go check.
Should've came quicker.
I even put in North Dakota.
It's cold as Boston.
Yeah, it's
I'll just lose my chest.
Don't go.
I almost wish we could zip tie it again on the pole. I can see you got rid of that. You're like, oh my god. You are gonna get super buff. Oh my goodness. I am. Ooh, we're catching the wind. Ah.
It is. So we can sing campfire songs. Early.
It's fine, no one can see me.
She's got one.
I'm gonna fall backwards and hit me in the head.
Walk right in the center of that man.
Someone's been checked in.
You want me to take it from you after we get up there? Should be good. So I'm gonna carry the okay, I just hear that. Okay. You guys, you still gonna be on the outside. Should we do?
One of them's giving me deja vu. They're the stay together. Like snappy, it reminds me of Warren.
Nowadays, yeah. Essentially any hand gestures you can imagine.
Oh, you should get a picture of him. You can use this camera. He's holding the flag. That'd be nice. I'll get a picture of you and I can text it back to you.
Is old boy police officer going to be actually keeping away from the wheels? Let's find out.
Yeah, they're supposed to. This one's supposed to be scared.
Well,
If they got a problem with
which
it.
is what horses beggars would ride. Do we want Mike because he's had a security?
What are you worried about?
You like it?
Where's Mike at?
Right there.
Man, and you see a female carrying a flag and you got a shield. Flank her.
Okay, well, should we do
It's
the
their responsibility.
rolls first?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get in the sunlight doing the.
Okay.
Honey, we just had baby.
All right. Everyone, we're gonna move up to where the sun is. We're gonna do a briefing before we step off.
Yeah, what's the better light?
Don't like that no more.
No.
Square corner.
Oh, for the sun, this is so nice. Thank you.
I think it's probably good, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, folks. Thank you.
Okay. All right, everyone. Just in terms of rules for the rally, most important thing is we're here to represent National Socialism, which of course is the answer for our people to be able to build them a better future. We must come off with the professional conduct that upholds the standards that our ancestors and all the martyrs, the millions of them, laid before us. I mean, we're here coming up on the anniversary of the putsch of men that literally gave their lives so that Europe could be free. So when we're on the microphone, when we're standing there, very important, we need to be following these guidelines, which Commander, of course, these are his. Under no circumstances will there be racial slurs. Under any circumstances. If there's folks from communities of color that are here to oppose us, that they don't understand our message as to why we are pro-white, we're not anti-them, and they're throwing things at us, we do not have to respond to that. We are going to be respectful. Commander Rockwell, when he went to meet with the Nation of Islam, he showed nothing but respect for them. That's what we're going to do. National Socialism is not opposed to anyone else. It is for the betterment of our people, okay? We're not going to be swearing, right? What do you do in your private life? You know, we're not puritanical, but we're going to make sure that we maintain our dialogue. We're not going to be throwing things like random salutes. We're not going to be throwing things like random verbal barrages, because we are here to be disciplined, right? Discipline, discipline, discipline. So follow the command staff, the Chief of Staff Burt, Commander Scoop. That's what we're going to do. We're going to follow their lead. So everyone, we're going to have plenty of time to dialogue. Don't do it of your own accord. We're going to follow their lead on everything. We're going to be respectful. We're going to be professional. And we're going to treat everyone, even if they hate us, with respect. Make sure we're here to have a peaceful rally. There shouldn't be any problems whatsoever. But just in case, remember, our duty here is under all circumstances to be peaceful, to de-escalate, if at all possible, and to use the absolute minimum amount of force necessary to defend our comrades, okay? We're not street thugs, okay? That's the enemy. So, does everyone understand? We tracking? All right, Commander, is there anything I forgot?
I think that's covering it.
Okay.
If anybody wants to speak that didn't get what kind of done, please get with them. Got here with glasses.
Yeah, speakers, no slurs, right? Obviously. Respectful. And we're going to be following the party's 25 points. That's incredibly important. There is a party line that we all follow, right? We're not individuals, we're part of the folk. So anything you say must be in line with the party principles.
We cover firearm safety.
Firearm safety, everyone. We've already gone over it in the parking lot. Let's go over it again. Does anyone who has a weapon, no rounds are chambered, correct?
Get the fuck out of here.
Have a nice day. See, respectful. All right, everyone. Make sure that there are no rounds that are chambered. We're going to be following all laws. Make sure everyone double checks right now. All right? We good? Is there anything else?
I think that's covering it.
You went over the swearing.
Yeah, no swearing, no slurs, no disrespect. We're pro-white. We're not anti anyone else.
Disrespect, get the fuck out of our city.
Sir, you're on the wrong side of the barricades.
Get out of here.
Or what?
No.
Don't, just play nice.
Have a nice day, sir.
Being nice enrages them even more.
God bless you.
Jesus, love you.
All right, let's form up behind the banners. Organized, disciplined, in a row.
Trucker, where are you? Trucker, still. Make sure you guys are all lined up. Two guys. You get another flag with female.
One cool thing about the banners, we're gonna be blocking the wind. We're like, hey, we're more. My hands are freezing.
All right, 4 across. part where I say just another day in the park?
What the hell? Sure. What's about to happen here, Matt?
Oh, we're going up to the Capitol to begin setting up our sound equipment for the rally to raise awareness about the genocide in South Africa against the Afrikaners and Boers. They're going to be doing a security check to make sure that everyone's in accordance with Arkansas law. So I guess we're going to be going through a bit of a security checkpoint.
Okay, we understanding that you're under surveillance of 7 sniper teams, drones, helicopters. If a magazine slides in a weapon after you pass our checkpoints, we will address that person that has a magazine in their weapon and deal with that off to the side if we need to. So if you don't want to be taken out of your rally or out of your speech, please keep your mags out of your weapons, and we'll get y'all in and out here as safe as possible.
Sir.
Any questions for me?
Yes, if lines break and we are under a threat of being attacked, do we have right to use our weapons?
Well, let me say, you understand that every citizen's got a right to protect themselves as you deem necessary. Here on these Capitol grounds, you have more police than I've ever seen in my life. There's more weapons on these grounds than I've ever seen in my life. You couldn't be safer. Okay? We will not just let anyone come in and attack your group. Okay? So just please drop the mags. If we see mags, we're going to address it. Okay?
We do have another car that's still coming in as well, so if we can make sure to
If
let
they'll
them
come through
through.
here, we'll take care of that as well. So I'm going to send you to these officers behind me. I'm going to send you to these officers behind me. They're going to check your weapons, make sure they're clear, breach is open, and then you can pass through to the other officers. I'm not going to hold your weapon. If you'll just rack it for me and show me it's on ready. Thank you, sir.
Yes, that's correct.
So if we can just kind of do something like this orderly, we'll pass you on to the bicycle officers and they'll escort you around, okay? So you got to follow them on you. Let me see them.
Please step back forward.
As y'all come through. I don't mean to break up your formation, but you can reform over here.
With the firearm, please step forward.
Show me the breach, open the maggot drop. Throw it upside down for me. Thank you, sir.
Anybody with the firearm, please step forward.
So I don't know if you heard about the magazines, but if the magazines are both please. Okay.
Check clear.
Yeah, just show me. Break the breach. You're right.
Looking at?
It's empty.
Full slide. All right.
No mag.
No lag. Free help.
And just for clarity, this is being done to anyone that's attending the front. There's a
fair.
checkpoint on the other side.
Yes. Once you've been checked. Go that way.
John, once he's checked, then come on. Yeah, come on through.
We got my car. Just want to get guys back in formation.
They can fall back in.
X. We're gonna. So once you get confirmed, get back in formation. We'll be on our way.
Yeah, I thought we were going to bring
They're
them.
being back in line.
Okay, he can come back.
Thank you for your cooperation. You said there's one more vehicle coming. We are waiting on them before you go up front. Yeah.
Sir, if you don't mind, you don't have a weapon or any firearms. You don't either.
I have pepper spray.
You have pepper spray? Okay.
That weapon is cleared.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The other guys there was just going.
Gotcha.
Another gentleman that took me in from GQ. And another guy that's got
Just gotta say, when I watch videos of Black nationalist groups and rallies, the cops call for put those down. Like these guys are taking it out. I've never seen it.
I was just with the.
Yeah, it's different.
They took a picture of my ass with my AR when we were in Noonan too.
What?
I don't know what it is with y'all doing that.
Mate, you've got a nice gun. Like,
It's all over the internet. It's got a
Right.
picture of my ass with an AR.
All right. It looks like a diamondback. Is that what that is?
Take a look.
what's this site?
This
Like
one's
Geotech?
Geotech, yeah.
Thought 12 You know that ESPS03 is running the 123 batteries instead of that AA battery.
is that right?
And it's a lot smaller profile.
That's got those like the watch batteries
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
I kind of like the big one. I mean, that thing
Yeah.
it's heavy as hell as it is, so
Right.
and I'm a heavy guy, so it kind of works out good.
Right. Yeah, those new ones, man, they're kind of, you know, I like them just fine. They did a lot of technology.
Right.
A lot of
Trying to make them
upgrades.
smaller.
Right. Battery life, okay.
No, they'll come in.
Forward on.
Okay. Who's building?
Everybody grab a stand.
One more person carry something.
Truly the Red Army.
Go back to Europe, motherfuckers!
Come back home and start over again!
Nazi, fuck off!
Your daddy has a tail!
Nazis, you're the good
Nazi,
idea to go!
Nazi fucks! Fuck off! Dumbasses! You ain't got shit to say, you dumb fucks!
Get the fuck out! Arkansas doesn't want you!
Hey, you can stay in Little Rock for the weekend and see what happens! You're more than welcome, pal!
We got enough racists here as it is! Get the fuck out!
Yeah, but we have way more non-racists! This is Little Rock, fuckerheads!
What's in here?
Yeah, he's only smiling to keep from crying. Yeah, let's hear it, tough guys. Say what you gotta say. And move on. Say what you gotta say and go home. Hands up your asses all day. Say what you gotta say and go home. Say what you gotta say and get the fuck out.
They divide us by our color, they divide us by our tongue, they divide us men and women, they divide us old and young. The union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Our union makes us strong. Fuck off! America! Hold on. Get that. Stop misusing rude. You're a disgrace to vote in. I'm a Christian. You're here now. Get off of my tool, you're a mongrel. You can't even tell me where you're from. Damn buzzard. You all got niggers in your wood pile. Every single one of you. Niggers in your wood pile. Every single one of you. All the children of the world. White man can tell me, yeah, I was just like her. Yeah, I was from Ireland. But you don't know where the hell you're from. We're from here. You gotta deal with us here. That's all you got. God bless you. Moron. God bless you.
The little children.
Take your flag. Flag of rebellion. Your flag. Oh, we gotta swing it there.
No Trump! No KKK!
Tell me something.
No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA! 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 No Trump!
All right, we're going on. That's one. Going on to the next fight.
Hi guys. We'll just pull one or two out.
Good? That's okay.
Don't worry, you can miss me in Mississippi. Look slow, man. Gotta go back to Mississippi. You all. No. Fucking go back to Germany. How about you go back to hell, you fascist dog? We want you in Germany. Mississippi don't want you neither. You ain't even been to Africa. You're a disgrace to all the Afrikaner and born people of South Africa. You ain't never been to Africa.
Come on, impress me. Show me your stamina. Carry something How did that work with Hitler? You saw Jesse Owens. Jesse Owens was ready to take a Swedish stride. And all the German women just loved his ass when he was finished. But Jesse Owens, German people ruled. They loved that Negro. They saw a true man. A true man that day. Now it's in the dirt. But we've been cooking a long time now. I got it better now, baby. Y'all can miss me with that bullshit. Miss me with that bullshit. Bullshit ass. Hey, 4,000 watt PA was advertised. Maybe 600. Maybe 600.
How's it down to know your sex life is doing better on the internet than your movement, you fuck?
Pretty good.
Just come here because you thought you were going to get some
Y'all just get out of my state. You practice that all night?
That guy was causing a problem, so they kicked him out.
Was what?
He was causing a problem, so the other people kicked him out.
Really?
Yeah.
I literally said on the drive right over, on the drive over here, I said, like, there's one dude who I think could be that way.
Yeah.
And that was what I was talking about. He was, what was he doing right now?
Just here or up here?
What did he do that caused them to kick
He
him
was
out?
like showing threatening gestures and like reacting to the crowd. And then they took his flag away and then like told him to go back to the
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's on. I was saying I think he's on a joke or something like that. 'Cause he was just acting freaky, like he couldn't stand still.
Are you waiting for more? Where are they? Are they coming? Get on your tech bitch. Think that little pea shooter's scared us? Where are they? They ain't got nothing. This is not even a show in form. You're embarrassing. We got guns too. This is an open carry state. We are unimpressed with that here. Maybe you can't get that in your state, but we have discipline because we know you get the shit shooted out of you. Try it. We don't care about it.
We'll have to bring it closer if we don't know.
Tired! Hold that flag up! You might right now with the laws, you're a pussy! Stop acting like a Hold your flag high, rebel. Be a rebel right. Hold your flag high. We waiting on here what y'all got to say.
Come on, you will. Patience is a virtue. Come on now.
Hold your hand on here. I see you hold your hand. Tell them to hold their flag up. You don't know where you're coming from. You're
Just saying, like, I think he actually is.
Yeah, I mean, just don't even worry. This is sad.
I know his relatives. Black as soot. Y'all don't know what you want. John Holden, come on, hold the flag.
Right?
Give me the microphone. We need to go on like a.
This is amateur. They're disappointed. They invested all this time. They had coloring time. Perfect. This is the best they've seen. Well, I mean, they might need a nap at some point. Why did they have megaphones? No one thought like. Boo Trump!
Gotta say, I'm kind of hold your flag high, rebel. It looks like you had a lot of punches on your knees.
It's what she said. A bit smaller than I expected. Is it in yet?
Yeah. And we got some pictures. Here's some selfies. Area fucking 13 people nation. Fuck you, you're boring as shit. You're weak as shit.
Can I find you?
Outside agitators are coming in. Outside agitators.
This dude, yeah, he must be smoking all night. Is it this one sitting over here? One of my hand and one here. It's just out of factions.
My dick is more loaded than those guns.
I'm so unimpressed.
Uh-oh.
So the Antifa are booing because the group here basically finished setting up their audio equipment, so it looks like they're about to start.
We are the National Socialist Movement. It's a pretty weak turnout. Antifa, you're letting us down. We got one guy over here screaming his lungs out, doesn't even know what he's talking about. Same chants we always hear. I bet you if we asked you why you were here to oppose us, you probably couldn't even answer. Bunch of communists, anarchists, degenerates, drug users. Guess there wasn't enough drugs at home, so you had to come out and oppose the Nazis, huh? That's that same chant. You guys are lame. It's like the third string Antifa. Couldn't even bring out the good guys. They sent you shitbags out. I'm seeing some interesting signs. Well, we can't even hear you because our PA is way too loud. You're going to have to get way louder to make any kind of impact on what's going on here today. Like I said, we are the National Socialist Movement, here to stand up against the white genocide occurring in South Africa that is coming to your nation, whether you like it or not. And your day is coming, communist scum.
We can't hear you!
Good afternoon, everybody. We are the National Socialist Movement. I want to thank you for the warm welcome here in Little Rock, Arkansas. There's a lot of you out there today that say we're not supposed to be here. You think we're not Americans? You think we don't have rights? The problem is that the communists there in front of us don't think we have rights. If you look up here and all these people, you see us carrying firearms today? You're blind. Those firearms are for defensive purposes only. For the red signs out there that think that Americans don't have rights. And I know you don't believe in America, you don't believe in rights, but we're up here exercising our First and Second Amendment rights. Yeah, I know, you're communists, you don't agree with that. But I wrote it down for you. Just in case everybody forgot, the highest court in all of America has ruled that hate speech, if you believe in it, is free speech. That ruling still stands today. And I'll read the quote. The Supreme Court of the United States unanimously reaffirms there is no hate speech exception to the First Amendment. The idea that the government may restrict speech expressing ideas that offend strikes at the heart of the First Amendment. Speech that demeans on the basis of race, ethnicity, gender, religion, age, disability, or any other similar ground is hateful. But the proudest boast of our free speech is that we protect the freedom to express, quote unquote, the thought that we hate. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Kennedy. Got something else we need to address out here today. We've got a certain news organization. Apparently they're not amongst us today, because if they were, they would be thrown out. Called the Huffington Post. Apparently, Mrs. Arianna Huffington thought it would be funny to align the National Socialist Movement with the terrorist act that took place on an Amtrak train in Nebraska. I want to make it very clear. The National Socialist Movement does not issue membership cards in any way, shape, or form. So how on God's green earth did this terrorist, this domestic terrorist, get found with an NSM membership card? It's not possible. It's a lie. It's slander. It's libel. Regarding the Pittsburgh shooting, which I know all you with your communist signs out there want to blame us for that too. We have never, ever advocated for violence, illegal activity. Every single time we have defended ourselves when you people like you have attacked with your communist red flags here, Charlottesville, Los Angeles, everywhere we go. I'm going to read this article real quick, this garbage that was posted by Andy Campbell from the Huffington Post. The headline reads, neo-Nazi convicted of domestic terrorism was, quote unquote, among very fine people at Unite the Right. I don't know who he is. I've never even heard of him. Photos placed Taylor Michael Wilson in Charlottesville 2 months before his armed takeover of an Amtrak train. On August 12th, Wilson can be seen holding a shield with a black sun wheel and a neo-Nazi, which is also known as a neo-Nazi symbol, according to the HuffPost. Appearing to shadow Jason Kessler, the rally's organizers throughout the day. He's also been pictured carrying a flag for another white nationalist organization that advocates for white ethno-state on college campuses. You guys love to go out there and break the laws, commit the crimes, and then try to blame us for it, don't you? And then you attack our people when you perpetuate your lies, and then you get your asses kicked when you try it. Move on to my next page of anti-communist propaganda for the day. I've got another news outlet here, located right here in Little Rock, Arkansas. It came from Austin Kellerman at Fox News, right here in Little Rock. I keep on hearing all the time how Fox News is this National Socialist / neo-Nazi organization who is goose-stepping behind President Donald Trump. Well, it appears today that Austin Kellerman from Fox News in Little Rock wanted to ignore our event today. Well, I don't think it worked out so well, Mr. Kellerman. I don't think Fox News is in any way, shape, or form affiliated with the National Socialist Movement. And I think your signs suck! Now, I'm not going to hog the mic all morning here, but I am going to introduce the commander of the National Socialist Movement, Commander Jeff Scoop, who has been in this fight before most of you have even been thought of. Hold up your red signs for Commander Jeff Scoop.
Greetings, Little Rock, from America's premier white civil rights organization. We are the National Socialist Movement, based out of Detroit, Michigan. We're here on the ground in Arkansas at the state capitol, speaking on behalf of our people. The National Socialist Movement is on the rise in this country. We're standing up for white interests, white civil rights, white activism, and closing the borders, and America First policy. We are taking nationalism to the next level. Up here today, you will see the vanguard of the white race. Proud Aryan men and women standing here on behalf of our people, on behalf of our nation. We've got the Antifa out here screaming and hollering, trying to drown out our free speech. We've had death threats, we've had all kinds of things about, we're going to be shut down, you're going to shut us down. As you noticed, our PA system keeps getting louder and louder and louder. And these people out here want to scream and holler at us and try to drown out our message. Those that stand against us, the Antifa, are communists and anarchists. Pure and simple. We stand here with an America First policy on behalf of our people, on behalf of many white people in this nation. The white race in America is becoming a minority very fast. In the next 20 years, we may be a minority. So the white people standing here today, standing up on behalf of our people, are amongst the few that have the testicular fortitude to stand for our people. Every time someone stands up and says something pro-white in this country, it's called hate, it's called racism. We stand for our people. We stand on behalf of white interests in this country. Our forefathers fought against tyranny once before. And here today stands the next generation of American patriots. Those who fought for this land just like our American forefathers, like George Washington and many others. Men that died and fought at the Alamo. Here we have the vanguard of the American patriot movement, of the nationalist movement in the United States. A lot of the men and women that stand up here today are veterans of many of the wars, of the foreign wars of aggression, imperialistic wars. They fought for their country. They thought they were doing what was right. But we stand here today in defense of America. Another thing we're here today to speak about is the genocide in South Africa. Even President Trump pointed out that there's a genocide going on down there. And the people are being wiped out on a daily basis by communist criminals like Nelson Mandela signed over his rights there in South Africa. And here we today stand to bring attention to these issues of the South African genocide of white people down there. The United States and many other countries are saying now that it's not true. This is propaganda. It's incorrect. Yet we have people on the ground in South Africa reporting the constant rapes, the murders, the killings. Again and again and again. And the fake news organizations here in the United States, as our Chief of Staff mentioned earlier, like Huffington Post, slandering us, libeling us, straight out telling lies to the American people. Yet you have the American government saying we're over in places like Iraq and Syria fighting ISIS. Yet they're bringing ISIS commanders into different places to bring them to safety. They're fighting against nationalist governments like Bashar al-Assad there in Syria. We stand in solidarity with Assad and with all nationalist fighters across this world, period, of all different races. You come out here today, you call us hate mongers, you say we hate, you say we're about hate. You're not going to hear one word of hatred from these steps of the capital of the state of Arkansas today. The National Socialist Movement is not a hate group. We are a white civil rights organization. Yet the lying Zionist media continues to say we are a hate group because we stand for white interests. Our adversaries, these communists and anarchists that come from all over the country to denounce us, continuously say this is about hate. They want the American public to believe it's about hate. Who's standing for white interests? We have a president in the White House right now that says he's a nationalist. Yeah, and people turn it around and say that's about hate. Just 6 years ago, 7, 8, 10 years ago, being a nationalist was something to be proud of. Now when you say you're a nationalist, you're called a racist, a bigot, a hate monger. Why is that? What in the world is wrong with this country? It's the lying Zionist media that keeps spreading these lies and allowing the people to do it. We are currently fighting lawsuits from our appearance in Charlottesville, Virginia. It's been over a year, we're still fighting those. Why? Why are we being sued in Charlottesville? Because we attended a permitted protest on behalf of white interests. Still, lawyers from New York City and other places across the country, some of the best lawyers that the left has, are trying to bankrupt us and use lawfare to bankrupt the white nationalist movement in the United States because we were there. Now, we are not advocating violence, we are not advocating death, or anything of that sort. We are advocating white interests. We were attacked by these same people that stand out here today, these Antifa, these anarchists, these communists. They threw balloons filled with urine. They sprayed chemical agents. They hit us with pepper spray, with mace, all this sort of thing, throwing bricks, throwing rocks, countless injuries. There was one death on that day from somebody from the Antifa. And there was also a couple police officers that lost their lives there as well. What the public doesn't understand, because 90% of the media that was there lied about it, was we were the ones that were attacked. We fought in self-defense when we were attacked by these communists. These same communists and anarchists attacked us, and we used self-defense. Yet we have men and women, men that are sitting in jail right now from the nationalist movement for fighting in self-defense. Why is that? Yet you have Antifa that punch a guy in front of countless cameras and they're fined by this degenerate system $1. Why is that? Why is it consistently the courts, the system, and the media want to lie about the nationalist movement in the United States? There's something very wrong with that. Why is it in a country where we have freedom of speech and the right to say what we need to say, you have people that come out here, scream and holler, try to drown us out, and don't give us the same free speech? Why is that? As Americans, we believe everyone has the right to free speech. Even these communist, anarchist degenerates, they have the right to free speech. But you know, there's people out there, and I see you, trying to listen, trying to hear what we have to say. This time our PA system's loud enough, you can hear us loud and clear. So when you're looking to get involved, you're looking to join the National Socialist Movement, NSM88.org, get a hold of us. We'll see you out there, we appreciate it.
Jacob Goodwin is a criminal!
Now, despite the lying media, the lying press, our anarchist and communist adversaries out here that want to speak against us, despite all that, you may think the white nationalist movement in the United States is on the defense. We've been on the defense for many years. What you don't understand is now we are going on the offense. We are not going to take this kind of crap from you people anymore. We have just filed a lawsuit in federal court suing the city of Charlottesville, and we will win that case, and we will pay dearly for the crimes that were committed against our people. The police stood back in Charlottesville, and someone made that order. Now, I can only speculate who made that order, whether it was the mayor or the chief of police. The chief of police resigned. That may say something, but that's pure speculation at this point. I'm not going to slander or libel anybody up here today like our enemies done to us, like the Huffington Post recently done to us. We're not going to do that. But I will tell you, if there's any justice left in this land, we will win that lawsuit. We are on the offense. You see us here today, the vanguard of the white race, brave white men and women. And this is just a small percentage of what we are doing here in this country. Understand this, the white man will not go down without a fight in this country. If you think for 1 second that we will surrender without a fight in this nation, you are sadly misunderstood. We are standing up here today, and we will stand tomorrow. We have stood for years in the streets, and we have constantly fought in self-defense against these people, these degenerates that constantly throw things. And I'll take a step back and say it's quite good that our adversaries here today, this small number of counter-demonstrators, have not been throwing urine-filled balloons and the things that they've done in other places like Charlottesville. So I'll say thank you for that. That's really nice. But clear and simple, we're standing here in defense of white interests, white America. The National Socialist Movement is here to stay. We will rise. We will take back this country. And believe me, we will not go down without a fight, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. White solidarity. Thank you.
Hail victory! Hail victory!
Thank you, Commander Scoot. We're hearing a lot of bad language out in the crowd today. Lots of hateful rhetoric from not the National Socialist Movement, but from all of you out there, cussing and swearing and engaging in what I would consider unsocial, uncivilized behavior. What would your mothers have to say if they heard the kind of words coming out of your mouths? What would they say? Now, what would your mother say if they heard you talk like that?
That's not nice!
Exactly. The National Socialist Movement is not a hate group. We're all about love. Love of our people, our country. Well, people like you out there shouting profanities and obscenities, it's pretty pathetic. I almost feel sorry for many of you out there. But in case you didn't know, this event is being live streamed all over the world via NSN Media and other media platforms out there, so they get to hear how uncivilized you people sound. I can't hear you out there. Well, you like the third string? We expected a little more out of you people today. Well, it's a rather low-energy crowd out there. We're only running out of steam. We're just getting started. Our next speaker is our Community Relations Director, Matthew Heimbach.
Hello. Greetings, fellow workers. Today, we stand in solidarity with those that fight against imperialism, capitalism, and oppression. Unfortunately, based upon the materials that many of you are wearing and carrying, you got lost on the wrong side of the barricades. The globalist and capitalist system desires for our people and all peoples to become driven from their homelands, for workers to become interchangeable cogs, producers and consumers, but not human beings. The open borders that you promote is exactly what the Koch brothers want. The Koch brothers, Wall Street, bankers, they desire open borders. Because as long as the capitalists have an infinite supply of scab labor, workers can never organize. The concept of national identity and security is not only a National Socialist ideal. Samuel Gompers, the Jewish head of the American Federation of Labor, petitioned Congress to close the border because business owners were able to destroy labor organizing efforts. While you think you're rebelling against capitalism, in fact, you are doing the bidding. You are scabs. But it doesn't have to be this way. We can be united to fight for a better, more just, more equal world. The principles of National Socialism are those of justice, are those of fairness, are those of understanding. For those of you that are in marginalized communities or people of color, we do not stand here in opposition to you. In fact, the system that we all live under is one where working class people every single day see our wages go down, healthcare, infrastructure, basic representation are slowly stripped away. The difference between the Republicans and Democrats is minuscule. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump advance the same interests of the bourgeoisie. This is something we all know. It is our duty and responsibility to reject the two-party system. We are not at war with any of you because liberation is not a zero-sum game. While we are advocates for white folks in America, while we believe that we deserve economic and political representation, that doesn't mean that other communities are our enemies. This is exactly what the bosses want. They want communities of color and white communities to constantly be fighting one another. As one of the signs said over there, class war, not race war. If you actually believed that, if you actually believed in these principles, you would be wanting to work with white working class men and women to tackle a prison industrial complex that has brought the United States the largest prison population, where more human beings are slaves today to private corporations than in 1865. As National Socialists, we oppose the principles of human beings being dehumanized, whether they're members of our community or communities of color. We desire to end the war on drugs that targets working people. The system of oppression and imperialism since the founding of this country has pitted white workers against workers of color. We can be advocates for our own people and our own communities without being at war with one another. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Brothers and sisters, the principle you must understand, for instance, in South Africa, instead of addressing the fact that multinational corporations like De Beers and others have looted the natural resources of South Africa for generations while using and abusing the people, instead of tackling economic injustice amongst the workers of all colors, instead, a war has been brought of the white majority against the white minority. Stealing land of white farmers without compensation is doing exactly what multinational corporations want. The genocide of Afrikaners and Boers and the destruction of their language is the exact opposite of what we should understand as a principle of solidarity. Self-determination is a human right. Just as the Kurds have a right to a Kurdistan, the Palestinians have a right to a free Palestine where the Zionist aggressors remove their settlements and their troops and they go home to their 67 borders, just as the black community in America deserves their own self-determination, where black folks and black communities have black police officers, black judges, black business owners, and black teachers. We as whites have a right to self-determination. In South Africa, we call that the Afrikaner and the Boer has a right to this self-determination, where there is no oppression, because in the multicultural society of the capitalist class, every people of every background is forced to fight for one another over fewer and fewer scraps off the boss's tables. Only nationalism is a bulwark of solidarity, where we can come together, where we can oppose capital, where we can oppose the bosses. Everything that you are advocating for, of breaking down borders and identity, leads to a dehumanization, which leads to class conflict, which leads to racial conflict. We do not advocate for animosity or conflict between other communities. In fact, by breaking down borders, the radical left are the ones who are agitating for this. And while many of you say that you're standing for the best interests of the working class, I see some of our friends, most likely from Redneck Revolt with their red bandanas, when your public spokesman is an individual that teaches at a university, that does not sound like a representation of the working class. Brothers and sisters, dehumanizing anyone is fundamentally wrong. But that is what capitalism has done to all of us. By dehumanizing one another and creating conflict, instead of affirming our own communities and identities and symbols and working together, we've been brought to fight one another. In Chicago, in the 1960s, the original Rainbow Coalition was made up of the Young Patriots, whites from Appalachia, that wanted to fight for social justice for their community. Not Jesse Jackson, the other one, in the 60s, before that. The Black Panthers and the Latin Kings. We've seen an example in this country where whites can affirm their own identity to fight for our community and work with other communities against injustice. The federal government cracked down on the Rainbow Coalition because when workers work together while affirming their own identities, it scares the system. They want us to be fighting one another. So you need to understand your anti-white animosity is not helping anything. In fact, you're doing the desire of the bosses. Comrades, brothers, sisters, if we are to turn back the ecocide of our planet, where if we don't change things radically, our planet by 2100 will increase in temperature by 5 degrees, displacing billions of people. As we stand with the largest prison population in the world, as we stand and see workers' wages go down, homelessness go up, and healthcare become increasingly out of reach, Social Security being unfunded, and bombs dropping on everywhere from Syria to Yemen to coups in Latin America. We have very little time left if we are to save this planet, if we are to save one another. By affirming our own identities as nationalists, we ensure the bulwark is able to be established against capital and globalism. We need to fight together. Brothers, sisters, stop scabbing for the globalists. Stop scabbing for the capitalists. Stop supporting their agenda. Instead, why don't we try and save our planet? Save our unique diversity, where every ethnicity, where every culture, where every religion has a right to their own nation, to their own land, so they can pass on their identities. This is what will lead to a free, peaceful world. This is what National Socialism stands for. This is what we will build. And I ask you, when you go home tonight, to reconsider. Wonder, Why are you advancing the same agenda as the big tech companies? The big tech companies that deplatform National Socialists, but allow the bourgeois political movements to utilize their resources because they view us as a threat. They do not view reactionary politics as a threat to the status quo. Why is it that every single Republican and Democrat united together to condemn us after Charlottesville? The one thing the politicians can agree on, besides endless war and exploitation, is fighting against national identity, affirming who we are as a community. We are the ones fighting against the system, not you. Unfortunately, you're advancing the very thing you think you're against. But it doesn't have to be this way. Our brothers and sisters in South Africa don't need to be displaced. They can have their own homes. That is why we call the United States federal government to sanction the nation of South Africa until they protect the human rights of Afrikaners and Boers. That is why in this country, we call for self-determination and for all communities to be free, sovereign, and be able to chart their own destiny. It's up to us. We in the National Socialist Movement will lead the way to represent the white working class. Stop working for the other side and join us on the right side of history. Hail victory and solidarity.
Thank you, Matt. We're still hearing a lot of bad language out there in the crowd. We couldn't help but notice that some of you weren't playing very nice, and at least one of you won't be joining us for the rest of our rally. Act civil out there goes a long way. I'd also like to take this moment to thank the law enforcement officers out there who took Saturday off to make sure you people keep an order out there. Pay very particular attention that most of these police officers are looking at all of you. Their backs are turned toward us, so obviously they are not too concerned about us causing any trouble up here. They are watching you. Our next speaker is our National Socialist Movement Chief of Staff, Bert Colucci. You can all jeer and make noises out there. Just bear in mind we're live streaming this all over the world, and you're just here kind of filling the spaces. So thank you for being our free movie extras.
Hello, I met you earlier. My name is Bert Colucci from the National Socialist Movement. I'm the Chief of Staff. I'm the not-so-subtle National Socialist. I don't want to talk with you. I don't want to reason with you. I don't care about your signs. I see a lot of communism out there in front of me today. A whole lot of it. I see signs that say, keep our country nice and clean. Thanks for the salute. We should keep our country nice and clean by getting trash like you out of here. You say, okay, let's put this in perspective so communists can understand what I'm saying. Okay, you look at this in terms of Democrats and Republicans. Is that right? That Donald Trump is just like us? And that Hillary Clinton is just like you? Okay, I'll break it down in the daycare version for you in that format then. What is the definition of a racist? Does anybody know? I am constantly being called a racist on a daily basis. Why? Because I think differently than you do? Let me tell you what the definition of a racist is. Anybody that is winning an argument with a liberal. Anybody that is winning an argument with a communist. And you guys want to end ICE? My God. How far this country has drifted. People fought at the Alamo, and you want to end ICE. You want to dox police officers? Dox ICE agents? Why? Because they want to force the law? They're doing what they're told to do, even when they deal with idiots like you. And personally, I don't think they make enough money to do it. Really, I'm doing a good job here because I keep on seeing more and more people. And again, I can't emphasize how Fox News here in Little Rock wanted to go ahead and ignore us. Fox News, mission failed. We must secure the borders. Unless we want to become like South Africa, where white people are being kicked off their land because of the color of their skin, for no other reason, that they're white. And they brought something to South Africa. We are at the same level here in America, just not as far as long. That will be here one day. I will not be guilted into submission, and neither will anybody else up here on these steps. You can call us racist all you want. We don't care. We won't be guilted into submission. I really hate those chants too. I know that's just going to make you do them more, but it sounds pretty childish. I see we got some aggressive negotiations going on here in the crowd today. It's always wonderful to see Antifa and all the other scumbag organizations out here being diplomatic. What are you going to do, beat everybody into submission? When we were in Newnan, Georgia, back in April, there was one simple rule that the Newnan police had in Georgia. Do not cover your face. And even then, when they were told at gunpoint to take the masks off, they refused. Why did this happen? They were told that if they did not take them off, they would be drug out in the street and arrested. So they went to jail. You guys have a real problem with rules and authority, don't you? I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic along because we've got some more people that want to speak. I want to thank you, communists, for coming out today. And I know there's people out there who support us. I know you're out there in the crowd. Be careful amongst these violent people. As you can see out here, we've got to exercise our Second Amendment legally because these people like to come out and beat up everybody and everything that they don't agree with. Doesn't matter if it's a Donald Trump supporter. I even saw a video of a Donald Trump veteran in a wheelchair getting coffee thrown on him. You people know no limits of scum, do you? There's a nice, warm level at the 7th level of hell for people that do things like that. And I'm sure you'll be there before me, that's for sure. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. I appreciate all the communists coming out here today to argue with us and get angry and prove our point that we are correct. Yes, I see. You want to fight against apartheid. I got it. You got white skin. That's incredible. That never ceases to amaze me. You want to end apartheid. Honestly, do you think if you were to go to South Africa right now, what do you think would happen? That stuff that you got there, you can scratch on it all you want. It's not going to come off. Okay, I'm going to hand the mic over here before I lose my voice to Harry Hughes. Thank you all again.
I see some of you still can't play nice out there. Isn't it embarrassing to be led away by a police officer at a rally like ours? That never happened to me. I've never been arrested at a National Socialist Movement rally. I never wore my welcome.
Those were Nazis, I'm sorry.
And ICE. For those of you who don't know, ICE stands for Immigration Customs Enforcement. They're the guys that make sure that you don't get counterfeit football jerseys during the National Football League or the Super Bowl. Did you know that? That's the C part, customs. Do you want to buy cheap goods that are manufactured in a sweatshop in China by slave labor? Or do you want to buy the real McCoy? That's ICE. The National Socialist Movement actively patrols the Mexican border in southern Arizona, where I live. We save lives. We interdict drug trafficking. We do all kinds of good things down there. None of us ever get arrested for doing it, so obviously we're not doing anything wrong. That's a nice whistle there. I used to have one when I was about 4 or 5. A lot of us in this organization are not the purpose Americanus ignoramus that we are portrayed by the left in the media. We are not the redneck hillbillies. Many of us are college educated. Myself, I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh in 1984. Many of our members are also veterans of our armed forces. Others were private military contractors abroad. Do you ever feel like you got kicked out of kindergarten for making all that noise? It's almost embarrassing. Believe it or not, there are people in this crowd that want to hear what we have to say. And all you guys can do is utter one-syllable noises that... Ooh, yeah. Anyway, back to what we were talking about here. Many of our members are veterans, and I'd like to introduce you to one. He's our security director, Mike Schleyer.
Yeah, that's what I smell on that crowd. It's a bunch of bullshit. Oh, Little Rock! I got something to say. It's about time you shut up and listen. I came here to talk to the people that came here to listen, not these Antifa trash over here. I come to speak to people that may have served this country, whether it be the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, or even if you were a contractor for the DOD over in Iraq or Afghanistan. So if you communists have any respect for the men and women that served this country and came here and hear what I have to say, just quiet down so I can at least listen. Keep in mind, as a veteran, when you came to MEPS and you decided to enlist to serve this country, you were brought into a room and you were given an oath to repeat and swear with your hand up to defend this country from enemies foreign and domestic, and to protect the liberties and freedoms of the United States Constitution. The one being the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Now, even if you don't agree what you might see up here or what you might hear from our speakers, keep in mind, not only did you raise your right hand to protect the freedoms and liberties of the Constitution, for those that are standing out on the other side of the fence, but also for us to be up here to express our views and what we have to say.
So to those of you that did in fact serve this country, thank you. And you're hearing it from a member of the National Socialist Movement. I highly doubt you hear it from these communist pigs over here. These degenerate scum. And to the police officers that are here to protect you, thank you, gentlemen. I'm sure you'd rather be home with your wives, kids, spending time with your families. But you're here with us. And we thank you for that. So even if none of these clowns out in the crowd here don't appreciate you, we do. Just for the record. A little research on Little Rock, Arkansas. A little other speakers may have addressed this, but on a scale of 1 to 100, 1 being the safest and 100 being the most dangerous, Arkansas ranks 86. So much for diversity. That's what I said. And you stand out there with your little noisemakers and your little whistles. Come on, is that all you've got? Come on. Is that it? You people suck. My 5-year-old nephew can scream louder than that. And that's when he's having a good time. Yeah. No, sorry, I don't swing that way. Besides, you probably fall in love, I'd fall asleep. To all the supporters out in that crowd, we thank you for showing up. I apologize for the fact that you have to be mixed in with all this degenerate trash over here with the little Antifa flags. Oh, by the way, I got one of your flags at the last rally we did. It's making a very good doormat to wipe my feet on. I might even use the clean part of it for some spare toilet paper. Yeah. Now that kid was really butthurt when he saw me whip his flag out of his hand and knew there was nothing he could do about it. You guys better learn to fight like a real warrior instead of like a bunch of little crybaby little girls. No, we are one. This is my country. And their country as well, standing alongside me and behind me. And for those on this step standing in front of me. Why don't you go back to China? That's a nice communist country, so now want to accept you over there. So for all those of you that are so in favor and support all these refugees coming up here from Guatemala, they're coming to Mexico, give me your address so I can forward it on to them and they can come live with you. How's that? So after they rape, rob, and pillage you and your family, you'll see why our president has made a decision to want to have a wall built. Okay, give me your address and we'll forward it to all the refugees coming up here. They can come live in your property. How's that, Junior? Is that, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Like I said, my 5-year-old nephew screaming out of that, and that's when he's having a good time. Yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. You sound like Peppermint Patty talking to Charlie Brown on the Peanuts Gang cartoons. Oh, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. Every time I see you Antifa punks engaging physically aggressive manner with one of the white nationalists, where you end up with your face in the ground. You always end up on your back crying like a bunch of little girls because you got your butt handed to you by real white nationalist warriors that know how to protect themselves, their family, and their nation. But I've been to places where you wouldn't even think of wanting to go. You put your little tail between your legs, your testicles will totally shrivel up, and and you just lay down and squabble like a little crybaby. And again, we are home. I would also like to thank KBR. Yes, KBR, also known as Kellogg, Brown, and Root. Again, Kellogg, Brown, and Root for all the money they paid me while I was overseas working for the DOD over in Iraq. D7 Fob Rustamaya, D0 Fob Justice, and B6 Fob al-Assad doing my part to support our troops. I made a very good living, and a lot of the money I made went back to this organization to help fund the projects and the part of the things that we have. Now, I don't think it came from you over here, because all you Antifa crybabies, you want everything handed to you for nothing. You don't want to go out and get a job and work for a living like the rest of us do. They're truck drivers, plumbers, pipe fitters, electricians, carpenters. We allow your loads at the grocery store so you can go take a little bottle card, walk in there and buy $500 worth of free groceries each month. Yeah. Truth hurts, don't it? Next time you're there, go buy yourself some soap, because a lot of you need a bath. Cut the dreadlocks out of your hair and get some shampoo out. So that way you're not spreading lies to all the other people that came here to actually listen to what we had to say. What? Water's free, just so you know. You don't need your Obama card, your EBT card to get any of that to take a shower. So, oh, come on. Is that it? Is that all you got? Really? Your voice is going hoarse. Thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to come here when I had to say it, whether you like it or not. Hail victory!
Thank you, Mike. Mike brought up an interesting point. I'm going to ask you this question. You don't have to answer it now. I ask the same question to hundreds of high school students every semester. Yeah, they let me talk to kids at school. How about that? It's true. When you hear somebody tell you diversity is our strength, ask yourself this question. With diversity in any formerly white city, state, or community, do you enjoy a better standard of living with a lower rate of crime? Ask yourself that question. With diversity, do you have an improved standard of living? Do you have less crime in your community? Ask that question. That's the same question I ask high school seniors every semester. How about that? Anyway, our next speaker is our up-and-coming, revolutionary, and talented media personality we've been using in the movement for a while. Kylan. Our next speaker is Kylan Dutton. He's been operating our media platforms for Innocent Media for a while. That's right. We have our own media platform because we can't trust the mainstream media to accurately report and talk about news topics. NSM Media offers unfiltered news and commentary and a little bit of satire once in a while. Ready, Kylan? Tell them like it is.
Hello out there. scumbags, drug users, and communists. Your message is weak, just like you. My message, however, and the National Socialist message, is strong. I want to talk a little bit about what white power is. Obviously, you out there have no clue. The white power is not a message of hate. It's a message of love for our race. It's being allowed to teach our children the way we choose, free of Zionism and multiculturalism. To be proud of our noble history. To teach our children about our heritage and where they came from. And it is a willingness to sacrifice everything for that love of our race and for the future of our children. We must clear the falsehoods of multiculturalism and equality. These are lies brought to you by the Zionists in order to destroy our society, in order to tear down our race. We're not equal, but we're proud. We see you out there, you fanatic agents of the Tsar, of the Zionist government. And you're no different than your predecessors, albeit you look a little bit more like maybe mutants. At least in the Führer's day, they had the honor to stand. They had the intelligence to debate. But I guarantee if it would address you directly, there would be no intelligent banter from you. We as white nationalists must be ever ready, ever proud, willing to serve our race and serve our nation for people like we see right here before us. People like you use the public's general ignorance to your advantage, to propagate your false, misconceived notions of equality and multiculturalism. Sounds like you're running out of breath out there. Your cowbell arms getting tired. See, a few of you have been taken away by the law. We're really grateful to law enforcement here in Little Rock, Arkansas for the fine job that they're doing. And as Harry pointed out and others have pointed out, their backs are towards us. We're not the violent ones. We're not the usurpers. You are. And your time is quickly approaching. The time is approaching where scum like you won't be a part of our nation. Ignorance is a choice, and you all are making it right now. But the National Socialist Movement is the largest premier white civil rights organization. We stand up for white rights when whites don't have the platform that they should. It's funny, many of you advocate for everything but white rights, yet many of you standing here against us today look pretty white to me. When you have no country left, when you have nothing left, remember those that stood for your rights in this nation. Remember the military that served selflessly for you. You hate your nation, and your nation in turn hates you. You are propagating your own end, and it's an end that's coming quickly. We're honored to be here in Arkansas today to share with you our message, because frankly, it's not for you. It's for the whites out there that are tuning in, that are listening. This is being broadcast not only in our nation, but worldwide. And people will hear our message. They will hear our words today. And they won't care what you had to say that's contrary. Agents of communism, agents of Zionism, the day is drawing near.
Is that all you can do? Your chants are kind of weak. Cowbells. Where's the honor of masking your face? Where's the pride? We're proud whites. We're the National Socialist Movement. Hail victory. Well, thank you, Connie. I still hear lots of bad language out there. I should have bought a bar of soap. Oh, you're angry. None of us are angry. Why are you guys angry? So much anger out there. Well, yeah. The National Socialist Movement also makes our platform and our rallies available to other groups and organizations. We'd almost let some of you speak here if we had something to say, but I'm not hearing anything that I'd want to hear on the air. So our next speaker is going to be Julian from the Aryan Nations. He would like to speak with you next. So as some of you are starting to wear down out there and get tired, you might want to hear what he has to say. How y'all doing today? Don't really care. All right. Genocide. That's what we're out here to talk about, right? You guys think we're going to start our own? We're trying to save one from happening? That's all right. You can keep on chanting all you want. I'm not here to appease you. I'm not here to coddle you. I'm not here to contradict what they had to say, but I am a biological racist. I don't care about you commies. I don't care how you feel. I want to protect my race on every continent on this planet. Yeah. The Jews, they're stooges in the media, the ADL, the SPLC. They tell you the genocide in South Africa is just a hoax. It's a white supremacist myth. Just a conspiracy theory, right? They say the numbers are fake. There is no white genocide, they tell us. They want to push a false historical narrative in order to vilify white South Africans, all the while championing murderers and terrorists and civil rights heroes. Yeah, murderers and terrorists, the same thing they like to say to us. The facts here. The worst of them would say outright, it's just payback for apartheid. They say it's white privilege and white supremacy that causes it. But then, they can't really afford to say otherwise, can they? No, they can't. Because to admit the truth, to admit that their Marxist, egalitarian experiment, their rainbow nation, is a failure. So they scapegoat the Afrikaner and the Boer. They say it's a white supremacist conspiracy theory. Today, farming in South Africa is the most dangerous occupation in the world. It's alright though. It's okay. They'll say, black farmers are killed too. Alright, you're right. There's black farmers killed over there too. Blacks killing blacks. Who'd have thunk it? not just the killing we're talking about here. It's the displacement. It's the land grabs. The complete acts of depravity. The barbarity of the crimes committed. Lend motive to the crimes themselves. Yeah, bullshit. You don't have to take my word for it. Look it up. Don't be a brainwashed Jewish pawn against the genocide of my people. But it's bullshit. It's okay. We're talking about torture and rape, mutilation, people set on fire while they're alive. Men having their eyelids cut off so that they cannot close their eyes while the savages rape their family in front of them. But that's a conspiracy theory. That's just white privilege getting its just dues. Okay. These are the kind of killings that make graphic horror movies look like Disney flicks. But the world is silent because it will lend truth to our narrative. It sounds insane, right? Just some more racist bullshit, right? Bullshit, yeah, okay. But it's happening now, it's happening today, every week, every month, every year, for the last 25 years since 1994. It's happening. You don't have to believe me. I'm not here to cater to you. I'll go ahead and wrap this up since I know it's cold out here. Nobody's listening on your side anyway. If you're on the other side of that barricade, you're on the wrong side of history. If you are white and you are on that side of the barricade, if you're standing against us for the sake of liberal Marxist ideas, just know you're crucifying the only people that'll be here to save you when you're standing in the same position as those Boer and the Afrikaners. As for the rest of you, I would seriously recommend backing those same Afrikaner and those Boer people. I would recommend it, because if you do not stand with the white South Africans, you are giving the green light for every single genocide that is to come. Every single one. I'll wrap it up with that. Hail victory.
Thank you. Again, I used to have a whistle like that when I was like in about 5 or 6. You know, it would be nice for once, after attending dozens of these events, to have some people show up and act like adults instead of overgrown children. Sad to say, but this is true. We just wanted a platform to speak and express our opinions. We haven't heard too many opinions out there. It's mostly noise and gibberish and profane language. I hope you're all proud of yourselves. We sure are, because we were able to conduct ourselves far more professionally and courteous than you people have. So much for Southern hospitality, right? Yeah. Nazi, go home. I want to address that for a moment. I'm not a Nazi. In fact, I was also labeled anti-immigrant. Yet we want to let some people into this country. We're all over the board out there. Anytime we like something, you people hate it, no matter what it is. We can stand against immigration, you'll be for it. We can stand with immigration, you'll be against it. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Absolutely. Behind that stack, we're going to have a brief message. And is your throat getting sore back there, Miss Screamer?
Hi guys. I wanted to bring one final message to everyone. The 11th of this month is the anniversary of 100 years since the guns fell silent in the Great War. Workers from France, England, Germany, and the United States were driven into a war for the bourgeoisie, where we butchered each other on the fields of the Somme and Verdun and the Argonne Forest. I would ask, not out of respect for us, but out of respect for the tens of millions of workers who died being duped into a war against their fellow brothers, to take a moment of silence to remember our comrades from all nations that lost their lives in the Great War. So much for solidarity with your fellow workers, comrades. Hail victory.
Well, thank you, Little Rock, along with the outside agitators. We're glad you came. Although I'm not sure why some of you did. Your message is so confusing and abstract, and it's difficult to comprehend sometimes. So I hope you all have a good afternoon and good evening while we go out and have some fun in your town tonight. Thank you very much. Oh, there's no KKK here. Not this time.
I'm multitasking here. Trying to do a live stream, hold a flag. I do feel very flattered though that everybody came out. It's kind of cold out here in Little Rock today. I see all these signs out here. I'll tell you what, I'm actually waiting to see one that makes any damn sense. I'll tell you what, I want to throw one thing out here while it's fresh on my mind. I see a sign over there regarding Jewish people. This is a touchy area for us, for me. I hear the 6 million myth day in and day out about how 6 million Jews were killed. However, I've got communist scum out here in front of me who killed 30 million people in Russia at the end of World War II. Why don't I hear anything about that? All I hear about is this alleged 6 million Jews. However, if you want to take it from that perspective, we'll take it from that perspective. If Jews were killed, and if there is any truth to that whatsoever, which I seriously doubt, Jewish people constantly tell you how they've been persecuted. They tell you why, how, and how badly they've been persecuted. But they don't tell you why they were persecuted. Why they've been kicked out of every country in America, all the way back to the beginning of time. Every country in the world, rather. And then you want to sit here and preach to us about how fantastic they are. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Maybe you commies, because you know everything, can confirm that. I've just been told they've been kicked out of 109 countries. Is that accurate? All the way back to the beginning of time? I'm sure they were kicked out of 109 countries because they're outstanding and stellar people, huh? Anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up like I said. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for honoring our First Amendment right. And hail victory!
Hail victory!
For one last final time, Antifa, your PA system sucks! How you like me now?
Zoom in. Who's that? What's that?
I don't have control of what people put on the body.
Yeah, they would. You think they're going to give up their position of economic privilege through elections? You actually think Wall Street is going to give up control over our country by voting them out? They own the politicians. Sorry? I don't like Wall Street. We call nationalizing the industry so the workers are the ones who own it. Not speculators on Wall Street, the workers. Because I think every community has a right to determine its own future. But if communities want to be separate, they have that right. Until Washington, D.C. tells them what to do. Right. And if you do something that the federal government, which is controlled by the powers of capital, don't like, they send in the boot boys of the state to crush the revolution. Sorry?
I am not a racist. Right here now, I am not a racist. too. I love each and every one of you. Thank you.
You should use that excuse.
Is that a bump stop?
It's a bump stop. It's a little faster.
Oh. Didn't Trump sign an executive order against the... I might be wrong about that. Maybe he just said he was.
They're trying to.
Trying to.
They're trying to outlaw the bump stops.
How would a bump stock help you in a self-defense situation?
Helps you reload faster.
To reload faster or to just pull the trigger faster?
I can hear you.
Doesn't it... My understanding is it just causes you to pull the trigger rapidly, like a full auto. It doesn't make... It's not helping you reload the mag faster.
As it's flowing, you can reload and the bump stop comes back again, so it's easier to do it. The ammo goes out quicker and you're able to reload faster. The bump stop.
Oh, I see.
You see it? So it helps the bullet tumbles. You know what that means?
And you think that would... Are you concerned? How did we get to this point where you're concerned that you need to bring something like that to a situation like this?
Clowns take shots at us.
You've had people with live fire?
Take shots at us.
Really? In which situation? When did that happen? That someone shot at you?
A couple different rallies. I really can't disclose where. A couple different rallies. As you can see, you got police up on the roof up there, watching for snipers.
Oh yeah, they said they had drone snipers.
There's a drone there. We've had shots at us. We've been gassed. You know what gassed is?
I'm sorry?
You know what gassed is?
Gassed?
Gassed.
GASSED? Yeah. Right, like the tear gas.
No, full of bodily fluids.
Oh, right.
You throw it at someone. You know how disgusting that is? That's what these people do.
How did you think the cops dealt with everything today? Yeah, no, I know that. But I mean, once you got here, I mean, the police response, was it too much, too little? Was it about right?
I don't know. What do you think?
I'm asking you. I guess I'm not here to have opinions. I'm just trying to understand.
I see more.
Ready, Rambo?
Yeah, I'm ready. I see more cops. Look at it.
Form up!
This went about as expected.
Pretty much what I thought that was going to be.
Guys, this is my town tonight!
There you go. Yeah, switch sides. Here we go. Good job, doing nice diversion.
yesterday we just slew back. You guys are good, right? He's to the free slew. You guys saw that? I thought that guy too.
So they're going to march back to their cars now, which the police seem pretty prepped for. I'm not sure if you can see behind me. There's maybe 24 riot cops kind of sitting under the bridge there. Another dozen bike cops kind of taking up the front. So we'll see if they make it without any interruption.
Can we go ahead and go ahead? Yes, sir. It's okay.
Matt, how do you think that went?
Good. It's beginning. Totally forgot to say all cops are bastards during the time.
All what?
All cops are bastards. Totally forgot to do that.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Pardon my language.
So much for the no profanity thing.
Hey,
but
the rally's over now, so this is just a friend's live streaming, right? But no, like the capitalist class, right? You know, uses the police fundamentally to oppress marginalized communities, and that includes communities of color, but also white working class communities. Like the second one of their bosses would give them an order, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, they will follow it, right?
Aren't police kind of the enforcers of a powerful state? Isn't National Socialism necessarily requiring of a heavy police force to enforce the nationalism and the socialism?
So the important thing with that is who's actually giving the orders and whether they're based on principles of justice or not. Currently, we have essentially an anarcho-tyranny where the capitalist class is in charge of the police, is in charge of the courts, is in charge of the private prison system and things like that. So it's important for us to identify that these institutions have really been seized away from the people and concentrated in the hands of capital. So I'm not opposed to the idea of police in general. I'm opposed to the principles that they're currently working under right now.
So you want like basically SS type stuff, but these cops aren't your kind of cops.
Well, I don't think they're any Americans kind of cops, because if you just look at the fact they enforce, whether it's the war on drugs or unjust laws against people, they will follow orders, right? And if the Nuremberg defense didn't work for the NSDAP, I don't think it should work when it comes to a moral culpability for police officers enforcing unjust laws.
So what would you do about law enforcement if, again, you were sort of in charge and had your way?
Right. I would return to community control. So that's, I think, the most important thing, where local communities, especially in the principle of a sheriff, is directly accountable to the people. We also take it away from the idea of these large police institutions and allow for community policing. There can be a lot of steps for the community to solve problems and to be able to redress wrongs before you start throwing people in jail. So I think community policing, bringing things down to the local level and having a democratic voice amongst these local communities is the way to have policing that actually represents the local communities.
Do you actually like democracy? I heard you just say democracy, but my understanding is that fascism is something of the opposite, one-party state.
Well, sure, but the principle is that the voice of the people is understood through the one-party state, right? That we all work together. That doesn't mean that there aren't disagreements and discussions, and we work together as an extended family to solve these problems. Likewise, on the local level, we can be able to have our voices heard and work together.
And of course, I know that you hate it when people keep going back to Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
But wasn't that quite the opposite? Wasn't he sending in goons to go attack, Jews in different cities? That wasn't local control.
Well, things like, for instance, I mean, if you want to bring up, we're here in the anniversary of Kristallnacht, right? That was not with the orders of the NSDAP leadership. And it was condemned at the time.
The Nazis weren't behind Kristallnacht.
Well, people who were members of the party were, but it was not an official party decision. When you look at what the United States has done, for instance, when it comes to the mass internment of the Japanese, seizing their property, throwing them away in jail without any sort of legal recourse, coming out eventually after the war with absolutely nothing, having everything been seized or stolen based on the color of their skin and their ethnicity. I don't think our country is really in a place to start waving fingers at things that happened during other historical periods in other countries.
Right, and so I know that it sounds like you all are not particularly fond of talking about the Holocaust, or you say that that basically you dispute it, the historical record of it. But wouldn't that again be quite the opposite of what you're purporting to be about today? Wasn't there a crushing of a minority group in a nation?
Well, right, and so if there was an organized campaign that would do that, I don't believe that there was. If you look, for instance, that the NSDAP worked with Zionist organizations, there's actually coins and things like that have a swastika on one side, a Star of David on the other, that was supporting repatriation of Jews to British Palestine so they could have their own ethno-state. If there hadn't been a war, the two different groups, the Germans and the Jews, would have been able to separate, and everyone would have been able to have their own community and self-determination.
All right, fair enough. I was hoping to talk to, is it Shoop? I always, Scoop?
Scoop, like an ice cream scoop.
Ah, okay. I always mispronounce that. I just found out.
Straight ahead.
Do you mind if I do a few questions with you?
Sure, I told her I would.
Load up the gear.
Word.
Yeah, hold on, I'm not gonna get hit.
We're all over the country. I lost my voice from speaking here. But we are all over the country. You know, we have been to LA, DC, Lansing, Michigan, Toledo, Ohio, literally all over the country. You know, we're a white civil rights organization, not a hate group, which a lot of media outlets keep saying that it's about racism, it's about hate. I don't think you've heard one word of hate or racism here today. We don't have that. So we want to bring public attention to the white genocide in South Africa. We want to bring public attention to the issues and different things that we cover, such as illegal immigration. We're nationalists, we're a white civil rights organization. These are all things that we're often mislabeled and misunderstood. So when we do these public rallies, it's to get the message out, let people hear what we're saying. Typically, the Antifa, the Communist Party, the anarchists, these people are out there trying to drown us out. And so.
You said there was no words of hate from you guys. Is it technically calling someone a communist?
Communist is what they are. That's not a hateful word. You know, we were in Charlottesville and we saw red flags, red communist flags flying there. We saw the Antifa flags flying today out there, and they're a collection of communists and anarchists. It's not it's a bad word to us, I suppose. We don't like communists, but it's not a slur or anything like that. That's accurate what they are.
And I mean, telling people to, that they need to clean and wash their hands out with soap, that's hateful words. I mean, I just don't agree with the fact that you said no hateful words were said today.
I don't think that's hateful at all. I mean, they should clean their mouths. So our adversaries were cussing at us and calling us names and chanting. They quite often, I wasn't listening to their chant specifically, but they'll chant death to the cops, death to the Nazis. That's the kind of things that they say to us. And typically, they were fairly well behaved today, the Antifa. But I mean, we've been in Charlottesville and other areas. They've thrown balloons filled full of urine and sprayed us with pepper spray and mace and thrown battery acid, things like that. So the real hate is coming from the Antifa and communists.
And so what do you think about the police presence that have been here?
I think, the police's job is to keep the two sides separated, so there's not violence, and I think they did a good job of that.
And so, you know, everyone likes to refer you guys as Nazis. What is kind of, you think, is the differentiating between the two groups?
Nazi is just a buzzword that is used by a lot of people. It's not an accurate portrayal. We're a white civil rights organization. We're white nationalists. We're concerned about white interests in this country. And, you know, people like to use words to make it sound like something it's not, or make it sound hateful, and make it sound great. We're representing white interests, just like blacks have their leaders that speak on black interests, Latinos have their leaders that speak on Latino interests, and so on and so forth. And we're okay with that too. I think everybody should have a voice in this country. And it's unfortunate when people come out and try to shout others down and they're just trying to voice their opinions.
Would you consider you guys racist?
Absolutely not. There's nothing racist about it. There's nothing racist about it. When you speak on behalf of white rights, when you speak on behalf of white people, it's often called racism or hate. But why is it when the other racists do it, it's called being progressive? You know? It's something to think about. It's not hateful at all.
Can I ask you some questions?
I was going to ask a couple. I'm sorry. Sure. Number one, why Little Rock?
We have a good amount of support here in Arkansas.
So you have local support?
Yes, we do. Yes, so it's a good place.
And what, define for me, because it seems to be in the news, a little bit troubling for people. Define for me what a nationalist is.
Nationalist is, you know, basically even Donald Trump calls himself a nationalist. You know, I mean, a nationalist is someone that cares for their nation, that cares for, you know, putting America from the standpoint of an American, it's putting America first.
So not the historical connotations of nationalism.
Well, it depends what you're talking about. But I mean, if you look at, we could go to Syria. Bashar al-Assad, he's a nationalist.
And
He's a
they're
nationalist.
currently involved in a civil war.
Well, the nationalist government of Syria is taking it back.
Second thing, all right, you brought up the goodness about having the distance and how people can be Charlottesville, I guess we can. Are you guys affiliated with James Fields?
Absolutely not.
So that was, y'all weren't in Charlottesville?
We were in Charlottesville.
We
were in Charlottesville. We're being sued. We're currently fighting a lawsuit, and Wednesday we filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Charlottesville.
Okay.
That was national news this week.
Right. I know one of the guys arrested in one of the war. So arbitrarily, Little Rock was chosen just because the amount of supporters. But it's symbolic statement.
There's no specific reason other than we do have local support here. We do have, and we have not been. The National Socialist Movement has not done a rally in Arkansas before, so this was our first one here. We've been all across the country. This is one of the areas we haven't gotten to.
As far as the platform, because I was a little confused, but I was there for most of it. And I guess I'd kind of confused what the platform is. I've heard downism to communism and Marxist, but then also capitalism. I guess I'm just trying to figure out where y'all fall on the spectrum.
We're National Socialists, so National Socialism is neither right nor left. We take elements of the left.
Socialism by itself is left if it's not, I mean, on the political spectrum of ideology.
Right, we do take elements from the left and elements from the right, you know, and that's basically where National Socialism fits in. I mean, for example, you know, we believe in like green policies and saving the earth, and we're against the imperialistic wars that are going on. Those are left. You know, as far as right wing, we're conservative on other things.
I guess I'm still kind of confused with
it confuses a lot of people.
Well, I mean, you're saying that you can't really give me a real definite, other than anecdotal answer, what a nationalist is.
I can refer you to our 25 points that are on our website. You know, it's about 30 pages of written material. It's a lot to get into a soundbite. That's why I say we take the best of the right and the best of the left. That's about
So is it a militarized movement?
Absolutely not.
We are armed and wearing fatigues. I'm just kind of confused.
We're not wearing fatigues.
I'm not saying it's against law. I'm asking. It looks militarized. Is why I'm just kind of asking.
We're security.
Everyone is security?
No.
Oh.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, I think it's fair. You're open carry, which is legal.
Right.
I just kind of concerned. I mean, you don't usually see groups protesting that are in uniform and in unison. You know, kind of, march. Just curious. You got on tack gloves and everyone's wearing tack boots. Everybody's laced up. I get it. I'm just curious.
We have a lot of. You have to understand.
Man's holding an AR to my right, and I'm just curious if it's militaristic.
most good percentage of our membership, probably at least 50%, probably more than that, maybe 70, 75% form the military. But we are not militaristic or paramilitary. We're not paramilitary organization.
Do you encourage young people to go out and get the training in the military?
I'm not going to answer that.
I think we're good.
All right, thank you so much.
So I had some other questions, which specifically on your speech. I know that you guys don't specifically love Trump. He's not a socialist. His nationalism is probably not as extreme. But I did hear some Trumpy language in your speech. I'd love to hear about where you are on kind of some of Trump's positions. I heard about the wall. I heard about fake news. What does Mr. Trump kind of mean to you, and what has he meant for your movement?
Well, I'm losing my voice here. Well, we are not, we are a different kind of nationalists as far as that's concerned. Some of the things that Trump says, the America First platforms, policies, those are things we've been saying for decades, So I wouldn't say that we've taken a page from Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. We like some of the things that he does for the country, and we dislike a lot of the other things. We don't agree with his warmongering over in Syria and some of those things. But on the other hand, we do believe in stopping illegal immigration. I think most Americans do, and that's why he was elected. But to classify us as Trump supporters would be incorrect.
And of course, you don't have a political party as in like having candidates and things like that. Do you think that this kind of event is going to change the political system? Do you think you can make Democrats and Republicans adopt policies like yours?
Absolutely. We've affected political change many times in the past, and we'll continue to do so. We have run candidates. We have candidates that have run for office. I believe I'm losing my voice here, but when we have run candidates for office, they've gotten significant percentages of the vote. Now, they haven't gotten into office yet. Yet is the key word.
So, for example, Arthur Jones ran as a Republican. Is that kind of part of your strategy going forward?
Art is an associate friend of ours. He's not an NSM member, but we definitely support his platforms, and absolutely we support Art Jones' platform.
What about, do you know about Patrick Little?
Yes.
He's supposedly running for president as a Democrat, but basically as a National Socialist. Any thoughts on him?
I really don't know enough about him to comment.
Okay, fair enough. So
I've never met him. I know Art, but I don't know Patrick.
Lastly, I know you were kind of asked about this before, but the police presence here, do you feel like, how do you feel like basically the police handled this?
I think they did a good job. It's the job of the police to keep the sides separated. They didn't do that in Charlottesville. Here they did it. Everything went off without a hitch, so I think they did a good job.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. You guys have maps for later tonight?
We don't have any maps for that because I never got the address. They should know.
So we don't have maps.
Not for that.
Jillian, are you going? You're not going with
So,
Gibson's, right?
Yeah, no, we're going to the
She's so I'm not surprised. She does. But she's legal.
Neither of these guys need somebody to want their families. He didn't keep a really good night meal.
We might. You want to text her to me?
There's some guys out there tonight.
All right, so at this point, these guys are basically wrapping up. Some of them are already left in their cars, but I heard some mention of someone saying something like ready for later tonight, or do you have maps for later tonight? So I wouldn't be surprised if this isn't over, if there's some kind of other event happening. In Noonan, Georgia, in April, they actually ended up burning a swastika in like the woods or something after their event, which I didn't know about when I covered it. So we'll see what's going on, and I may go live again later today. But to everybody who watched this live stream, I apologize if you saw or heard things that were sort of disturbing to you. I think that it was important to sort of document the kinds of words that were said out here, particularly because, as they pointed out, both parties, they to some extent are trying to infiltrate. So as much as they may seem somewhat irrelevant, maybe 50 sort of neo-Nazis showing up and then maybe 150 Antifa showing up in a flyover state, as irrelevant as that can seem, they are hoping to sort of infiltrate major party politics. They, appreciate some of the things that politicians are basically saying and think that they've moved them in their direction. So I think it's important to get them on record and have recordings of that, which is important today, but it could also be important in the future. So as a quick recap, they basically marched from here up to the state capital of Arkansas and then back to here. They were probably outnumbered by Antifa and other sort of counter demonstrators, a lot of them just sort of local people, at least 3 or 4 to 1. Police kept them very separate. A lot of these guys had firearms, but they were all checked by the police that they did not have them loaded. So they had to have mags out. They could not have one in the chamber, and the police verified them one by one. So with that, I'm going to close out the live stream, and we'll see if something else happens tonight. Thanks for watching.